Welcome back CSE 3200 Yukon Stores. We're in Chapter 16, Video 2, where we'll be migrating our database from version 1 to version 2. We're going to start by going into the crime class and adding in a property, val suspect of type string, and our default value will be an empty string. So whenever we do that, we've changed the entire structure of the database. It now holds 5 things instead of 4, and we've never had room for 5 in our database. Remember when we created our database, we put the version number as 1. Well, now it's time to update that to version 2. Then we have to migrate our data over from the old database into the new so that we have room to store our new values. Everything that we had in there to begin with will then just get an empty string for a suspect, and that's okay to start off with. We have a couple of ways we could do this. Option 1 is described in this paragraph here. We could call the function fallback to destructive migration, but as the name suggests, this is going to destroy all the data in our database. Pretty quick, pretty easy, but the loss of data is huge and very inconvenient, and I doubt anybody would want to use our app after we destroyed all their data. So we're going to go with option 2. We're going to define a migration class. There's a couple simple steps to this. So we're going to go into the crime database, and we are going to change the version number from 1 to 2. And then we are going to use this code right here to define our migration. We're going to call it migration _1_2. Before I get into that very briefly, let me explain that in crime repository, well, I mentioned in the last video that I hadn't showed yet, but this line gets commented out. We're no longer going to be pre-populating our database from data that we get online. We are going to comment that line out, and then in its place, or just underneath that commented code, or right before .build, we're going to call .add migration, and then calling or passing in our migration _1_2. So back up here, it's going to have a thing called an object, which is of type uppercase migration from version 1 to version 2. And we're going to override the migrate function. Note that it says that the database is support SQLite database. Remember, under the hood, that's what is running room. And then we run the code that is going to put in the new column into our table, alter table crime, add the column suspect text not null default. Let's get to it. So first we're going into crime. This comma should not have been there, but we've got to put that comma in, and then we go val suspect is of type string is equal to empty string. Then we are going to go into crime database, change the version from 1 to 2. Then we're going to come outside of these curly braces, and we're going to put val migration _1_2 is equal to object of type capital migration in the parameters 1, 2, begin curly brace, override fun migrate. And when we do that, we automatically get our database, SQLite database. We're going to get rid of the to-do because we're ready to do that now. And we are going to put in database.execSQL. And then inside the parentheses, actually it's a long line, so we're going to separate those parentheses. And we are going to put inside double quotes, alter table crime, add, column, suspect, text, not null. And then we are going to put in single quotes twice. One last thing, we're going to the crime repository, and under where it says create from asset, we are going to put dot, add migrations, and then migrations 1_1_2. It should be all set. Looks like I have an error. Looks like I also am running the program. Where is our error? Looks like I need an import. Okay. Looks like I've done this before and I misspelled it last time. I misspelled it this time. There we go. All right. The problem is that I misspelled it elsewhere, and so it automatically imported with that misspelling. That would be in crime database, and here is an F where I meant to have a G. So let's go back. Error's gone. All right, now let's run it. And all we're looking for here is that it runs without crashing. And it is running. I don't even have to click anything for this test. So I will hide that, hide this. OK. So that is it for video 2. In video 3, we are going to put in a format string. So when we do that, that finishes the setup, and then we can get into, finally, implicit intents. See you there.